Hello once again to the PSD TV studio. Vincent as your host today. For the 5th time here on Radio Rhythms, we are having Jana Webster-Wheeler from Weber Middle School. Welcome, Jana.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
We have the Winds and also upcoming the band, jazz band, and we're going to hear some really terrific music today. It would be really good for those that are not yet familiar with what you do to talk a little bit about what you do at Weber.
Oh, well, thank you. The Jazz Winds is a combination of all of our wind players who are interested in performing jazz music. We've tossed in a couple of tubas this year to add some bass line to round out the ensemble. But really, the idea for Jazz Winds came about 5 years ago. The inception came from the fact that as a band director, and especially as a woodwind specialist, I think that the winds were not quite wholly served at first because there wasn't room for clarinets, there wasn't room for flutes in a traditional stage band or jazz band setting. And it always felt like a deficiency, especially since, as you can see, we have a lot of interest in saxophone as well, and we can't accept all of the saxes who ever audition into one ensemble. And so what we do is we take music that is written for jazz band, and with the help of student aides that are much better at writing on some of the music software than I am, we reformat things to work for a jazz ensemble such as this, where we have woodwinds primarily, thus the name Jazz Winds. And it's an effort to have all students be served and have all of them have an opportunity to play this music.
That's great. Great overview. So we're going to hear the first song next in line, and we're going to go to that right now on Radio Rhythms.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and...
Very inspirational hearing this incredible music in the Channel 10 studios, and we are now going to continue. We're going to get our kicks on Route 66. What a great time we're having in the Channel 10 studio. Really American music, Jana. This is really incredible. And aside from the opportunity that they get all playing in unison, there are also the solos that come into play as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's right, Vincent. In our first tune, Next in Line, we had soloist Dagan Windsor on the tenor sax and Mikey Schauenbauer on the trap set. And then in the second chart that we played, Route 66, we had Jimmy Nguyen on the alto saxophone. So, Dagan, if you could talk a little bit about why solos are so appealing to play.
Well, you get to express your feeling through music and just be in front of people and show off your talent. That's what I like most about it.
In jazz, a lot of people don't really think of other instruments as participating in jazz: tuba, bassoon, flute, clarinet, but really some of these instruments were the staple of jazz before saxophone came on the scene. And so, Ella, could you talk to us a little bit about why you wanted to play the clarinet in a jazz ensemble?
Well, I love the tone quality of a clarinet, and when I was first gonna choose clarinet, I heard that clarinet was like the king of woodwind instruments, so I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna play that.
What about you, Nate?
So I had originally wanted to play the saxophone, but I had learned that the clarinet was one of the starting instruments in the earlier jazz, and so I thought that was really cool that I could play an earlier jazz instrument.
That's really terrific. We're going to continue, and we're actually going to do this classic arrangement of Tequila, which is an incredible arrangement, and we have a soloist with that as well.
We do. For Tequila, we have a couple of soloists. First is we're going to hear from Misha Isley on the clarinet, and then also Ian Osborne on the alto sax. We're very lucky to have multi-talented students, and so I want to give a special thanks to Casey Cunning, who is going to double on not just her clarinet in this group, but also on percussion instruments, and then Nate Kendall, who's taking time off from his alto saxophone to play congas for us.
More of the jazz winds here from Weber Middle School, Jana Webster-Wheeler. We're having a fantastic time here in the Channel 10 studios. Wonderful jazz music with all of these incredible students led by Ms. Jana Webster-Wheeler from Weber Middle School. A couple more songs from Jazz Winds. And I believe we're going to come out swinging next.
Best way.
Well, we've been really enjoying hearing this music today. That is the understatement of the day. And we're going to have one more song from the Jazz Winds, followed by Jazz Band. And I want to thank all of you for this really incredible sounds that we're hearing and being able to see you integrate and work so well together. And that's really what it's all about, Jana.
It is. The teamwork is crucial. I was telling the students not too long ago that music is one of the rare places that what you do and what you bring to the group, you are directly accountable to each other. Not just a teacher, not just a coach, but to each other. And so it's all about the teamwork. So on our last tune, when we had the chart Come Out Swingin', we had a feature in the lows, Wesley Nelson on the Barry saxophone. We had Emma Tucker on the bass clarinet. We had Anya McCarty on the bassoon. And also on this next tune, Cool Jammin', we've got soloist Evan Morgan on the clarinet. We've got Alyssa Dilger with the flute. And special thanks to Luke Foster, who's taken over the trap set, so that Mikey S. can play a little bit of Barry sax for us.
Great. We're going to hear that right now. We are back in the PSD TV studios with Jana Webster-Wheeler from Weber Middle School and this wonderful jazz arrangements. And we have the second arrangement here with the jazz band now, Jana.
Yeah, so the jazz band is a more traditional group of instruments that you'll see in a jazz band or stage band as they've been called in the past. So we've got our saxophone family, we've got our trombones, we've got our trumpets and our full rhythm section. So we're very excited to bring that to you. Since we are also really grateful to have the talents of Miss Haley on the tuba, she covers a lot of our bass line. Plus, we're a little bit unique because we also have Tiana covering our xylophone and our auxiliary percussion. So we've got all of the traditionals plus a little some.
And we're going to start out getting down and dirty.
You got it.
Here in Channel 10. We're having a fantastic day here in the PSD TV studios on Radio Rhythms. Jana, thanks for being here. This is tremendous. This is visit number 5, I believe.
It is. And thank you for having us for you for hosting and helping edit the process, and also to the folks at Channel 10 and Weber Middle School, because really we couldn't do this without everybody, the folks in transportation who got us here today. It's quite a team effort, and so we're very grateful. In the team, we had soloists on the last time for the piece that we just did, Down and Dirty, Tyler Kimball on the guitar. And for the next piece that we're going to do, Vehicle, we've got Orion Cobb on the trombone.
what a great time we're having in the studio. Jana, we are actually going to do something really unique, and we're going to talk to one of the students that actually composed a song. And I think before we do that, commenting on what a tremendous program is going on in the jazz scene at Weber Middle School.
We're very excited to have the opportunities to promote jazz in the way that we can. You met the Jazz Winds earlier, a group that we started about 5 or 6 years ago to serve all of the students in the woodwind family who wanted to play this genre. And with that, having been gone on longer than that, Michael Schaefer started a jazz orchestra, which the talented Ms. Elizabeth Kirk has continued and even has been a model for a jazz ensemble in the string family that they've started up at Preston Middle School. So we're very, very lucky because between the Jazz Winds, the Jazz Orchestra, and our great instrumentation and jazz band, we have some more unique things that are happening on the Front Range. One of those things being Tyler Kimball, who is a terrific student, a very good musician, and a budding composer. So Tyler, this next piece that we're going to play, Big Band Boogie and B-flat Blues, is yours. Can you talk a little bit about what inspires you to write?
Yeah, so I wrote my first piece last year with the help of Miss Webster-Wheeler and everybody around me, like students Peter Crone and Lewis Evans. I wrote my first piece, and I really enjoyed that and playing it. And so from then on, I've written, I think, 3 more.
What is it that you think that you want to offer that inspires you to write? What is the message or the sound that you're after? Is it something particular that you see that inspires you, or is it simply the wish to have your voice be heard?
It's the wish to have my voice be heard.
We're going to hear this song right now on Radio Rhythms. Well, we just heard this incredible original by Tyler. Thank you for that. And we're going to, Jana, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the unique aspects of this middle school jazz band.
Yeah, I think that it takes a special kind of person and a real dedication from the students here, because all of our jazz ensembles, whether it's the jazz orchestra, the jazz winds, or the jazz band, we all meet at 0 hour, which is a 7 a.m. start time. And we are very lucky because the counselors, the administration, really the Weber community is behind that, supportive, awards class credit for the work done here. So we're very lucky. There's a lot of other things that you may not know by just looking at this group of students. Wesley?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't know is that we really do blend together, but there's a really big variety of instruments, lows and highs, brass and woodwind. But I think we do have a really great sound and we really blend together.
Thank you. Matthew, what would you like to add?
Another really unique aspect of the jazz band is even though we're just called a jazz band, we do a whole lot of other things, like we do rock, Latin rock, funk style songs. And I think it just makes us a lot different than some other things.
Good variety. Jaden, what can you add?
We are more than just a band together. When the 7th graders came in, the 8th graders didn't make us feel like we didn't know what we were doing. They accepted us, and they knew that we could pull our own weight and didn't try to make us just like them. They realized that we got here on our own.
Nice teammanship.
Really an incredible collaboration you have with both of the bands here, the Jazz Winds and the Jazz Band. We have a couple more songs here, and we're going to hear Running of the Bulls. Well, we've really experienced quite the stellar performance from you all today. Really appreciate that. And Jana, we are going into our final song.
We are. So this is the Jive Cat Jump. And before we do that, I just wanted to acknowledge our soloists. First one that I'd like to mention is Lewis Evans on trumpet in Running of the Bulls, and then also Nora Steger on trumpet as well. Want to offer a special thanks to Katie Bastian on piano and Haley Sinan on tuba, who played a great solo in Running of the Bulls on trap set. And then the one other thing that I wanted to mention is a special thanks to our rhythm section, because really without the rhythm section, you don't have a jazz band. In our next and last piece, the Jive Cat Jump, we want to feature soloist Jaden Tyman on trumpet.
Well, this has been an incredible time here in the Channel 10 studio with Weber Middle School Jazz Winds and Jazz Band led by Miss Jana Webster-Wheeler. The fifth year that we've had this wonderful assemblage come into the studio, and I want to thank all of you for watching this edition here on Channel 10.